Let me get back up here. But I got to tell you something. Excuse me here. But some of you might have heard the story about a man named Bob. Bob, good God Almighty, was an old wino. And Bob was the wino that everybody knew as the town drunk. Have I got any witnesses here? And old Bob, good God Almighty, Bob had no place to live. Do I have a witness? Good God Almighty. But Bob came into town one day and he told the town members, he said, I found me a place to live. Yeah. They said, where you gonna live, Bob? He said, well, there's a hole outside of town. He said, I believe that I'll make my home in the hole. Have I got a witness? And Bob, good God Almighty, he made his residence inside of that hole. Do I have a witness in here tonight? And some of y'all is living in a hole right now. Good God Almighty, you made resident, set up your tent in the devil's hole, but he was in that hole. Good God Almighty, and about 6 months went by and nobody has seen Bob. Somebody said, if anybody here seen old Bob? Somebody said, the last I heard, Bob said he was going to live in the hole right outside of town. They called the fire department, ran over to the hole, said, Bob, are you still alive? They heard Bob's voice, said, yes, I'm still alive. They said, Bob, we gotta get you out of that hole. The fire department, they're here tonight, and they're gonna throw a rope down to get you out the hole. They threw the first rope down. Bob grabbed hold to the rope. They started pulling. Got Bob halfway up. The rope broke and Bob fell down. They said, we got 2 more ropes and that's all we got. They got the next rope, threw it down, said, Bob, grab hold. Bob grabbed hold to the rope. They got him halfway up. Rope broke. Bob went back down. They said, are y'all sure all you got is 1 more rope? They said, yes, ain't got but 1 more rope. This is it. Somebody ran over to the hole, hollered in the hole, said, Bob. He said, last time they threw the rope down in the hole, Bob grabbed hold to the rope. They pulled and Bob came out of the hole. Everybody was glad. Everybody was excited to see old Bob. Everybody was grateful that Bob was out of the hole. But somebody walked over to him and said, Bob, I'm so glad to see you. Said, Bob, I'm so glad you're still alive. But I got one question that I wanted to ask you. So what is that? He said, well, all the ropes were the same length and all the ropes held the same weight. Tell me, Bob, why did the first 2 break, but on the last one you came up out of the hole? Bob said, well, I'm glad you asked. He said, well, you know, I've been in the hole for a mighty long time. I accumulated a whole lot of junk inside of the hole, and on the first two ropes I tried to bring my junk up with me, but on the last one I heard somebody say, Bob, last time I dropped my junk, I came up out of the hole. If anybody here wanna drop your junk, come out of the hole. Maybe your last time. Yeah, 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 yeah.